you've reached peak couple energy when your undies match. MeUndies Match Me has you both covered, literally, in super soft ultra-modal undies, socks, PJs, and loungewear. Festive prints? Check. Cozy vibes? Double check. And right now, it's deal season. Get up to 50% off site-wide for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Take your couple game to the next level with MeUndies Match Me. To get deals up to 50% off, go to MeUndies.com/comfort, promo code COMFORT. That's MeUndies.com/comfort, code COMFORT.
Your crashes are not character flaws. They are a multi-system response that science is finally mapping out. So when you move from a scattershot fixes to a personalized plan, so really pacing first, doing half, resting, then targeted supports, you trade fewer crashes for more capacity and more life, more living. Hey, beautiful soul, and welcome to Dear Body, I'm Listening, the podcast for women navigating chronic symptoms, invisible illness, and that daily dance between hope and exhaustion. If you've ever been told it's all in your head, well, this podcast is for you because your body is not lying and neither are you. Hi, I'm Donna Piper, movement therapist, Pilates instructor, and chronic illness navigator. After years of being dismissed, misdiagnosed, and doing everything quote unquote right, but still getting sicker, I created this space to tell our truth. Here we talk about swelling, brain fog, nervous system crashes, and the kind of symptoms that don't always show up on lab results. We're going to explore lymph, breath, movement, self-trust, latest research, books, relationships, basically everything. All from a place of compassion and honesty. This isn't about fixing your body. It's about finally being heard and getting some answers. Hey friend, running low? Me too. I'm Donna. This is Dear Body, I'm Listening. We're in it together. Hey beautiful soul, welcome back. Today we're diving into the science of rest. If you've ever been told you just need to exercise more or you'll feel better if you move through it, this one is for you. Because there's actual science proving that for people with ME/chronic fatigue syndrome, your body isn't lazy, it's overloaded. I first read about this in the Health Rising blog, which broke down Dr. Ian Lipkin's 2023 study so beautifully that I went and I read the research myself. It kind of stopped me in my tracks because it gave me so much clarity. After several years of researching all these different illnesses, I've been looking for links and common threads. And sometimes because of the disease I have and because of my other issues, I forget a lot. So reading this, just kind of a lot more connection and light bulbs went off. And if you're curious about reading Health Rising's blog, which I highly recommend that you subscribe to because it's amazing information every week, I'll link that below. And also Dr. Lipkin's study as well. So if you want to peruse it on your own and not just take my word for it, because it really is some great information for those of us struggling with chronic fatigue. But I think also a lot of times I've been seeing that things kind of link to the cousin of fibromyalgia, long COVID. But, I have several things that also link into this hypermobility, EDS, that they talk about rest, POTS, talk about rest, lipedema, rest. So a lot of the prescription to help you heal is rest. And even if you want to just kind of learn more, maybe you have a friend or a loved one, learn more about what is a crash, how does it happen, and why does it happen, and why is it different than just, oh, I'm tired today, I'm going to take a nap. Because sleep doesn't cure or resolve the tired fatigue feeling. It's a total different experience. Unless you really have it and go through it, it is hard to explain, and it's probably even harder to understand. So let's go and unpack what the study found and why it changes how I, and hopefully you, and we collectively see rest, especially rest in women, men with chronic fatigue issues and or any chronic illness issues. Real talk, no gloss, just us. Now let's dive in. So I'm going to try to make the science simple here. And here's what the Lipkin study discovered without all the medical jargon. First, even before exercise, people with chronic fatigue syndrome showed signs that their immune systems were already on high alert. So imagine your body's defense system is hovering between ready and fight, and it never truly sounds down. So it never really goes naturally back into that rest and digest. It's constant alert. Then, when researchers gave participants a mild exercise challenge, nothing extreme, just enough to raise heart rate, their systems didn't bounce back. Instead, they crashed. Healthy participants used energy efficiently, repaired quickly, and returned to baseline. But those with chronic fatigue syndrome, everything went sideways. The immune system flared, the mitochondria, the tiny power plants in the cells struggled, and their energy cycle basically short-circuited. So here's what it looked like under a microscope. Immune overactivation at rest. The immune system is already inflamed before any exertion began. Then there was an overreaction to the stress. When exposed to minor triggers, the immune system response overfired, like a smoke alarm going off when you toasted the bread, right? And then there was an energy production breakdown. Instead of burning fuel efficiently, their bodies started hoarding unused energy molecules like citrate and fatty acids. The energy system couldn't keep up with the demand. Then there was mitochondrial distress. A stress marker called GDF-15 spiked. Basically, the body's way of saying, I'm exhausted. And then looking at the detox system, that totally was in disruption. The urea cycle, which helps clean up nitrogen waste, was off balance. It's like your body's janitorial crew didn't show up and the toxins piled up in the corners. Then there was oxidative stress overload. So antioxidant systems, especially those involving copper, were depleted, leaving the body vulnerable to oxidative damage. So now let's get into brain fog and mood link. Okay, so the pathway that breaks down tryptophan shifted dramatically after exercise. That change may explain why physical activity can trigger brain fog or emotional crashes. Now it's time for the connective thread, where the story meets the science. So what all does this mean in real life? Well, here's how I like to think about it. Your body is like a factory that's already low on power before the workday even starts. Then you add a little exertion, say laundry, stairs, even a conversation, and suddenly the alarms are going off, machines are overheating, and the cleanup crew is trying to contain the mess. For someone with chronic fatigue syndrome, that quote-unquote cleanup mode never stops. So there's never a resting mode. It's constantly trying, really kind of behind the eight ball, always. So instead of switching into recovery, the body stays in a defense mode. So when we talk about post-exertional malaise, that deep, delayed crash after small activities, it's not in your head. It's a cellular system overload. Your body isn't weak. It's working overtime in every direction just to maintain balance. And when I first read about this on the Health Rising blog, I remember thinking, oh, so this is what my crash actually looked like under a microscope. That realization helped me stop resisting rest or thinking that I don't have to rest as much anymore, or maybe resting is all in my head because, when you're alone for months and resting and have all these chronic diseases, you start to think crazy thoughts. So I was blaming myself like, oh, maybe I'm not getting better. Maybe I'm resting too much, all of these things. But reading this kind of put everything in perspective. And I started to respect my body's limits as data, not defeat, and also looking at how amazing my body is that despite this constant state of hyperarousal for decades, in my case, literally decades, that my body is still functioning. And I'm doing as much as I can. So when I look at it that way, I'm super impressed about even breathing, being alive. My body has to do all these things. And it's been totally wigged out and totally on hyper alert. And I keep on throwing things at it. And still I'm breathing and I'm living. So let that sink in for a little bit that, even when we're sick and our bodies aren't doing what we'd like them to do, they are doing so much just to literally keep us alive. And that is pretty damn impressive, if I do say so. Mythbuster. Less hype, more help. Myth. Just exercise more, you'll build tolerance. Truth. The Lipkin study shows pushing can worsen cellular stress. Pace first, safety builds capacity. Myth. It's just anxiety. Truth. Immune activation and metabolic strain show up in labs. This is biology, not mindset. Myth. If one supplement helps, take 10. Truth. Sensitive systems backfire easily. Start low, go slow, and always work with your clinician. Myth. One cure fits all. Truth. Subgroups differ. Age, sex, and root drivers matter. Personalize everything. Feel good flow time. Micro moves, macro reliefs. Let's breathe together. If you're like me, the hardest part and the hardest prescription from my doctor, Dr. Perrin, or really any doctor, has been to rest. Half days, half effort, half everything. But the Lipkin study reminded me that rest isn't laziness. It is biological necessity. It's your mitochondria asking for mercy. And before you roll your eyes at affirmations, hear me out. Affirmations only work if you truly believe them. So let's help your body stand down just for a minute. Find a supportive seat or recline. Unclench your jaw, soften your gaze. One hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. And if you're driving or doing something, obviously don't do this, but do this when you can. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold for 2. Exhale for 6. And do 2 gentle rounds. Always shorter counts if needed, but try to do the inhale, hold for a certain number, and then your exhale for that same count so they're even. Do it another time. Just see if you can just slow down your breath. Inhaling for up to 4, holding for up to 2, then exhaling for a count of 6. And then add 2 tiny chin nods, stopping right, then stop to the left. And now scan for one easier place in your body, a calmer breath, a softer muscle, one small pocket of relief. Then name it quietly, keep it, and that shift that you just experienced totally counts. And put in place now of thinking, instead of saying, I'm fine, try this. Look into a mirror or imagine yourself looking into a mirror. Imagine yourself and whisper, my body's doing her best. Try it for 90 days, and even when it feels awkward, even when you don't believe it, because after years of feeling unsafe in your body, it takes time for your nervous system to really trust and even trust safety again. Some days it's not always easy, but I do promise you that it is a healing practice. So your body is literally never at rest. And after all of this information, at best, it could put in a nice perspective, just like the one I've adopted, is that, wow, even when I bitch and complain about what my body is not doing, I am in literal awe of what it is doing to keep me alive. After all the things I put it through, and it's already at a state that's already overwhelmed, and I just kept adding, the really taking my perspective and intentionally resting is a game changer. And heck, as a side note, I'm a yoga nidra certified teacher, so I believe in rest, but I didn't believe in rest when it came to my own chronic illness, which is kind of wild. So take that which you will, but give it a try and let me know how you do. This is shared education and lived experience, not medical advice, and is not meant to be. Check in with your body, check in with your clinician, and find out what fits your life. So here's the takeaway from today. Your crashes are not character flaws. They are a multi-system response that science is finally mapping out. Yay! So when you move from a scattershot fixes to a personalized plan, so really pacing first, doing half, resting, then targeted supports, you trade fewer crashes for more capacity and more life, more living. If this has helped, send it to a friend who needs a soft place to land. And as always, I'm over on Instagram. I'm not great at Instagram, but come say hi over at the Donna Piper. And as always, I'm cheering for you and your nervous system, your mitochondria, and your very, very smart, very protective body. You can find the Health Rising blog and the original Lipkin 2023 study linked in the show notes. And until next week, see you at Dear Body, I'm Listening. I hope everyone takes care and remember to rest. You've been listening to Dear Body, I'm Listening. Now it's time to remember to be gentle with your capacity, meet yourself where you are, and if this has helped, send it to a friend who also needs a soft reminder and a gentle place to land. If this episode made you feel even more seen, brought you clarity, or reminded you that you're not alone, please take a moment to rate, review, and send it to someone who needs that same reminder. You can find more tools, blog posts, and support over at donnapiper.com. And hey, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Got a question for me? Every month I do a listener coaching episode, and I'd love to hear from you. Send your questions, stories, or flare-up confessions to donna@donnapiper.com. And you just might hear your answer on the show. Until next time, dear body, I'm listening, and I am so glad that you are here.